Welcome to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. My name's Phil and I'll be your guide as we talk about life in general here in South America's biggest country. Today we're going to talk about taxes. Oh my god. I meant to make a short explanatory video on how it is that I have done my taxes twice here in Brazil, but it got to be a little bit longer than I thought, but I really hope you enjoy it. I hope it helps you. But big disclaimers. You're going to hear disclaimers throughout this video. I am not a financial expert. I am not an accountant. I'm just a guy who watched a few YouTube tutorials on how to do your own taxes and managed to do them twice. If you choose to do your own taxes, it's on you. If you do them right or if you do them wrong, don't come crying to me afterwards, okay? There's many disclaimers throughout the video about this. And at the end of the video, I have a very special guest, Liz, who was kind enough to make a video herself explaining how it is that you can file your taxes in America if you're here in Brazil. I was trying to get someone to do it if you're from England, and I couldn't. If any English expat wants to make a video, wants to share it with people, I will definitely put it on the Brazil Expat Journal. Another thing to consider is that your taxes are due at the end of this month here in Brazil, and I think at the end of next month in America, but watch her video to get the exact date. So it's kind of coming out. I put this video out at the last minute, but the process is not any different from one year to the other. The only thing is that you do have to download an app, and every year you do need to download an app for that year. So your 2019 income tax app will not work if you're doing your 2020 taxes, and they'll add some new features and things like that, which are nice, but the bare minimum of it is not going to change. So if you've already done your taxes this year here in Brazil, woohoo, congratulations, good for you. But maybe you can study this for next year. I also link a video which I use as my guide. And if you have any questions, or maybe if you want me to tell you where you can find more info on doing your own taxes, I can direct you. I don't know if I can answer too many complex questions, but if it's an easy question, especially about, where can I find this, where can I find that, then I may be able to get that information for you. No news today. This is the supposedly shorter BJ. Oh, there is some information that I wanted to give you before we get on with the show. Is that I have my Festa Junina playlist on my Patreon channel. It's 2.5 hours long. Go there, enjoy it. I give a bit of a historical perspective about the song, who's singing it, the lyrics. So it's almost like a radio show with some great Brazilian music from the Northeast that you can enjoy all year round, but it's especially pertinent during this time of the year. And two is that I have a playlist with just the music and not me talking. I also have all of the BJs, or almost all of them, uploading a couple more. That are on YouTube. I upload it on my Patreon as MP3, so they're easily downloadable, because I know it can be a real pain in the ass to listen to over an hour of an interview on your Android or cell phone. So if you go to Patreon, you can download that. And I believe tomorrow I'll be uploading a shorter version of my Festa Junina playlist for everybody that goes to the Patreon, not just the actual Patreon. So check that out, guys. Support the work if you can. It really does help me a lot. So with that said, let's get on with the show. Hey there, how are you? It's Phil, and today we're talking about a very serious topic. It's taxes in Brazil. How do you go about doing them? Well, I managed to do them myself for the last 2 years. So I'm making this video kind of explaining how I went about that, but there's big disclaimers on the way, guys. Super big disclaimers. 1, I'm not an accountant. 2, I'm not any type of financial expert. Nothing, none of that. I still need calculators to do simple math, okay? I just managed to do my taxes 2 years in a row. I haven't had any problems, crossing my fingers. And therefore, I want to show you how to go about that. Now, if you choose to do that, it's on you. Okay? All the information that I'm giving to you is information that I found on the web. There's plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to do your taxes. They're all in Portuguese. Maybe your Portuguese isn't that good. So basically, I'm not creating anything. I'm more or less just doing a translation of videos that I've found on the internet that explain how to do the taxes or how to do your taxes. In fact, I'll show you which video that I'm working off of in a second. But the idea here is just to kind of show you that it's possible. If you do it and it works, hooray. Don't come to me and congratulating me. No, you did it. And if it doesn't work out, then definitely don't come to me and try to snap my head off or something, because that's your decision. Okay, it's your decision if you want to do your taxes on your own. I'm just showing you how I managed to do it. I didn't find it to be that complex, but that's me. Okay, and I'm going to show you what route you can take in order to do your own taxes. That's disclaimer number one. In case you didn't hear the intro to the show, where I already gave you that disclaimer, but some of you like to skip right to the meat of it, and I'll keep disclaiming this throughout the video because it's super important, super important. I'm not giving out financial advice, okay? I'm just kind of showing you where you can go in case you want to do your own taxes. But that comes with a disclaimer number two. And disclaimer number two is that I'm not a high roller. Okay, basically, I got a job a couple years ago where I am actually, carteira assinada, as they say here, like I'm registered. Therefore, I got to do my taxes. Okay, every year they gave me a little piece of paper, and a little piece of paper right here. Okay, and I got to do my taxes based on this. So that's all. That's the only reason that I'm making this video, is because of that, because I've actually had to do them myself, and that's it. Like, I don't have um, investments in any of the stock markets. I don't own property. I don't have a car. I don't, I'll show you where you can put that stuff in the program where you file your own taxes, but then that's up to you. And that stuff can start to get complicated. It really can. Therefore, if you feel that you're in over your head, definitely, spend some money. Go find yourself somebody that does taxes. There's plenty of places, even in your neighborhood. There's a little signs. Faço imposto de renda. I do income taxes. Usually it'll cost you 150, 200 reais. If it's a little bit more complex, obviously it's going to cost you a little bit more. But those services are out there. I recommend you talk to people who have already done it with somebody else before you give all your information to somebody else. I think that's a good piece of advice that I'll stand by. But otherwise, that's all this video is. This video is just me saying, look, there's a way to do it yourself. If you want to do it, go for it. If you don't, then don't go for it. But don't come after me. So after that legal disclaimer, I hope I put all of the stuff on there that's pertinent. Let's get on with the video, and I'll be going away, and you'll be seeing a little screen coming up next, which will guide you through the process. Alright guys, how are you? So first thing you want to do when you're filing your taxes is go on Google and go to the Receita site. Okay, so you want to write Receita, and then you put Imposto de Renda 2020. And when you type that, then you're going to get your options here to download the program that you're going to use in order to do your taxes. Just take a little sidestep though before we go into that, is that all the information that I'm giving you, I'm following this video right here from O Globo by Leticia Cardoso. She's a journalist. She goes step by step on how to do your own taxes, and it's in a very easy to understand language. She explains everything, and I'm trying to do the same, but as I said in the beginning, big disclaimer, I'm not an accountant, I'm not someone that works in the financial area. I'm just listening to her, translating, repeating, basically, okay? So big disclaimers. You want to do this yourself? It's on you. Okay, if you get good results, bad results, if you have a friend that speaks Portuguese and that you trust and you want him or her to help you do your taxes based off of this video, do that too. I'm talking about her original video. So just so you know, my source is this video, and it really helped. It's really not that difficult. It's a little tedious, but not difficult. So you have two options. Either you can click on the main site, or you can just go straight to downloading for your computer, which is right there, or your cell phone, an Android or iOS, Apple. They also do have Mac, Linux, and Solaris. And then when you click on that, download for Windows, it's going to ask me to do the download. I don't want to do it because I've already downloaded it. If you opt to go by the main page, well, there you go. Download the program. It's going to get you right back to that same page that we were to begin with. And then it's important to know that if you're making less than 28,559 reais and 70 cents, then it's not necessary to do your taxes. If you're making more than that, then yes, you need to get your tax returns in. But once you download the program, you're going to get this cute little icon on your screen. I think I already have a version open, but I'm going to close it just so you see what it looks like when you open it. This thing's going to come up. It's going to pop up real nice. And these are all just the new things that are in the program for this year. They always update it every year. You can't use the app from last year this year, okay? You cannot use last year's app to do this year's taxes, okay? And they also explain that your tax returns have the due date, okay, to hand them in has been extended to the 30th of June of 2020. Usually it's the 30th of April. So I'm going to click close here, and then we're going to get to another page. Now when you click close, you might have gotten another little pop-up window just to update the app. If you did, just either update it or don't update it. I didn't update. I also had to skip a little bit because I've already sent in my taxes, and the first thing that pops up after I close that first pop-up is all my tax information, so I didn't want that to show up. But once you're here, you want to click on Nova, okay? You want to click on Nova. So if you end up on that one, you want to go here, or maybe if you didn't transmit any, you will automatically show up on Nova. Nova means new, obviously. And here you have a whole bunch of options. What you want to stick to probably is doing just your new tax return. Other options are if someone has died or if someone is leaving the country definitively. You can also import your tax info from last year to this year, which just speeds up the process. All your company name, your tax info, all that stuff's just gonna pop up. You don't have to do it all over again. So that's an option. You can also have a pré-preenchida. I think this is a new thing this year where your company can actually give you a token and something that's downloadable, and you can just upload all that information onto this app. Okay, if your company does that, ask your HR department exactly how it works. I don't do that, but it seemed kind of straightforward from watching the video. She goes into it a little bit, but that's what that is. You're going to be working with the Declaração em Branco, okay? So that's the one that you want. But before we go there, you also have preenchimento. What that means is if you have any tax return which you started doing and then you stopped for whatever reason, halfway through, it's automatically saved, and then you just go back and start it again. When you go here, you put your CPF. This is not a real CPF. Okay, and then you put your name in there, and then you click OK, and then you're gonna have yet another pop-up which just tells you that at the end of filling out your tax returns, you have an option of how you want to be taxed. But you get to the main page over here where you're gonna fill out all of your information, and you see it follows here the same thing that follows here. So you want to start with identifying yourself, and you want to click that it's your annual income tax. This is if you made a mistake on your income taxes and then you have a chance to put some information in there correctly, then you want to do retificadora, which is just to rectify it. And if you happen to have the receipt from last year, you can put it on there. It's not necessary. And then here, guys, it's pretty basic stuff, okay? It's just put your name, your date of birth. Título eleitoral, that's your voting number. If you're a foreigner, chances are that when you put your CPF in, it's connected to your RNE. That's going to show up here. If it doesn't show up there, you don't have to put that information in there, the título eleitoral, okay? It's not necessary. There's some things that are necessary you have to do, other things aren't. In here it's asking if one of the people that are declaring has an illness or some type of physical or mental handicap. Are you married or not? Okay. Where do you live? Brazil or abroad? Put your address. Okay, super simple stuff. Down here is where you want to say what type of work that you do. There's a whole bunch of stuff all the way down from bolsista, which is someone that's living off of a scholarship, military. Okay, do you work for a public company? Do you work for the public sector? Most of us, I imagine, watching this video are going to click one, which is someone that works for a company in the private sector, except for financial institutions. And then you're going to click here, and you're going to get even more specific of what that work is. Everything from military, you have other types of employment, you have someone who works in the arts, you have a scientist, you have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to put here, because I'm a teacher, profissionais do ensino. I work at a high school, so I'm going to look for ensino médio, which is high school, and that's that. Okay, that's how you fill out that first page. When you get to your dependents, then you want to fill this out here, and you want to say what type of dependent that you have. Put their CPF, put their date of birth, put their name, and put how much is the deduction off of the dependents, okay? Here you have just some information about all the information related to the dependents. If you happen to have a kid here, but maybe you're paying child support, okay? Or maybe because of divorce, you're paying alimony. These are your alimentados. Alimentados literally means like the fed, people you're feeding. Do they live in Brazil? Do they live outside Brazil? Okay, obviously if they're outside, you won't not put a CPF there. But if they're in Brazil, you put your CPF, date of birth, their name, and that's it. So these first three tabs, pretty basic, pretty easy. We're gonna move on to the stuff that you really need to pay really close attention to. Not that you don't have to pay close attention to the other stuff, but this is the one that gets people all jittery, right? Because they're like, oh my God, how do I fill this out? How do I fill this out? Well, everybody should get a piece of paper, which I will be showing you right now. Hey, I'm back. Look, guys, right here. Your boss or your director or somebody from the HR department is going to come through every year, and they're going to give you this beautiful little piece of paper. I kind of did a little origami thing here so you can't see like my name and where I live and all that jazz. But on my camera's so bad though, I don't even think you'd be able to see it if you tried. But on this side, everything's backwards. You should have some numbers, and the numbers are going to be how much that you made per at that job, how many taxes you paid. All the stuff's going to be on there, and there's going to be little numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's up to 7 little options to begin, and then there's another 3, and then there's another 6. Okay, and when we go back to the other screen, you're gonna just read what it says on the screen and look for it here. Okay, like the first one is gonna say the amount received. So you look total dos rendimentos. Okay, that's how much I received. In case you don't know, look at the numbers on the right. So usually the big numbers is how much that you received. That's your annual, okay, income. And it's also going to tell you how much that you contributed to Social Security, okay? And it's also going to tell you how many taxes you just paid just on top of your salary in general. It's also going to have a little line that says how much your 13th salary is, because Brazil pays a 13th salary, like all the taxes that they take out and all the stuff that they discount through the 12 months of work, they give back to you more or less in December. So it's like in December you get like two salaries, but really it's not two salaries, it's all the money that they didn't give you at the beginning of the, no, throughout the year. And then they're gonna have how much taxes you paid on top of that 13th salary. So all that information is going to be there, and then there's a bunch of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 because I don't pay all this other stuff like a pensão alimentar. That's, if I have a kid and I'm paying alimony or child support, I don't have that. I don't have any whatever else here. I'm just looking real quick because all this other stuff I just don't have. I don't have any illness that, so I don't get any money for that. I don't. Diária e ajuda de custos. I guess that's maybe some type of a welfare. I don't get any welfare. So if you did, all that would be there, and then you put that on the program. But since I don't have that, I'm just worried about the numbers. All the stuff that has numbers next to it, that's the stuff that I want to fill out on that screen. So let's go back to the screen. Okay, so welcome back. If you saw me with that piece of paper, that is the paper that my boss gave me. The HR department gave it to her. She gave it to me, and it has all the information that you need to fill out on this tab right here. So you want to put your CNPJ right there of the company that's paying you. You want to put the name of the company. You want to put it exactly as it's written, by the way. On my little paper, for example, it actually gives like the official name of the school that I work for, which is not the same as the name that they use for marketing, obviously, because sometimes you have a really kind of a formal name and then you have the social name that you're gonna use. This is the main company, okay? It's the principal. I put it in this first one, but it went to that automatically to that. I put it on the second one, I'm saying, and it went straight to that first one because that is my main source of income. If I have another company that I'm working for, I'll show you what you do there. Let's say I'm making, well, no, I gotta make more than that to file my taxes. So let's say I'm making 36,000 a year. Oh, guys, I always forget this. In Brazil, yes, don't make this mistake. It's a dot. The dot represents the commas, okay? So 36,000. And then I put all the information that follows, that I follow on that little piece of paper that I just showed you. It should tell you how much I'm giving to the Previdência, which is a Social Security. So let's say that's 500. I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, I'm just putting numbers in here. Let's say how much they take out for taxes straight from my salary. And again, all this information is going to be on that little piece of paper. Just whatever's written here, look for the same thing written there. Okay? Oh, that's quite a lot that they're taking straight from the source. That's a lot of money. Let's put 680. And then my 13th salary, okay? So let's say my 13th salary is about, 3,000 reais, okay? The 13th salary, by the way, for those of you that are new to Brazil, is all the taxes that they take out throughout the year in money that they discount throughout the year out of your salary. At the end of the year, you get like a second salary, but really it's just the money that you should have gotten throughout the year. So they call it a 13th salary. I remember when I got to Brazil, I was so happy. I was like, "Ooh, I get an extra salary." But it really isn't an extra salary. It's just your salary just one more time. It's just, they take all the taxes and all the stuff they take out. Here, you get some back. And then how many taxes I get taken out due to that 13th salary. So let's say I get 200 taken out. And you saw, I was just writing numbers here. But guys, just follow that little piece of paper and follow the lines that have numbers on it, right? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff on that little piece of paper, but most of it just says 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You don't really got to worry about the 0, 0, 0 stuff. You want to worry about the stuff that has numbers on it, and then you got it. You click OK. If you happen to work for another company, see, this is the main company that I work for. So let's say I work for a different cacao show. I don't know. Then I would go here and I would put that. And you see how now that first one didn't change? Okay, because that's going to remain my main source of income. And then this is just another source of income. And then I go through the same process. I put the exact name of the company, how much I'm making, how much I'm paying for Social Security, INSS, how many taxes are taken out straight out of my salary from the source, they say. And then I'm going to put my 13th salary, how much that was, and how much money was taken out of that 13th salary for taxes. Super simple, but do it slowly. Make sure that you put in the right numbers, and remember decimals versus comma. Okay, so it's a little different. Now here you can put any money that you've made from any work that you've done with companies from abroad, and you're just going to put the month that you worked. Maybe you just did a freelance. Maybe you wrote an article for a newspaper in Washington, D.C., and you're going to click on Novo. You're going to put the CPF of the person that's paying you, and it's, again, the amount that you received. Pretty basic. And then we move to the next tab, and these are any type of money that you received which cannot be taxed. So let's go here. You're going to go tipo de rendimento. You have scholarship money. Maybe you have like a pension that you received, okay? So there's a whole list of things that you can put on here. So you click on that, and then you're gonna say who's getting the money, the CNPJ of who's paying you, and that's where you put that information, and obviously the full amount, and that's it. Okay, you're gonna click OK. And then you do have some taxes that are subject to taxation, but it's very specific here. Okay, it's if you have any interest over some capital that you bought, maybe you invested in something, not necessarily stock market. We'll get that in there in a second. So anything like that you want to put on here, and then they'll kind of calculate how much you would have to pay in taxes based on that. Do you own a building or something, invested in something, and now you're getting some money back from that? Hey, that's taxable. So you want to put stuff there, okay? And this one here, this is a very specific one. This is if I am in court and I believe that I've won a decision, okay, and money's going to be coming my way, and I know how much that money is. It's just so that later the IRS knows where this lump sum of money came from all of a sudden. So it's extremely specific, and then you put all the data here as far as how much you think you're going to get, etc., etc. Now, this next tab is also kind of specific, but a little bit easier to explain. And It's basically if you're getting any money accumulated, okay? So if you happen to own an apartment and you're renting it out and the person hasn't paid the rent in 3 months, and then all of a sudden you're getting 3 months rent at one time. So instead of getting 1,000, now you're getting 3,000. That's what you put here. You have the chance to put, what month you got the money on and how many months it stands for, okay? So there's all this information here that you can fill out if you are in that very specific situation, okay? And again, you notice when I get to these, I'm not going very detailed because it's not something that I deal with. I imagine it's not something that you're dealing with if you're doing very simple taxes. If it starts to get to this level of like there's a little bit here, a little bit there, then yes, I suggest that you really do it with a friend or spend 200 reais, 300 reais, get your taxes done if you're going to feel better about it. If you happen to have all the info here and it's on a nice little piece of paper and you can read it and you know what to put on each little block, great, okay? I mean, it's really pretty self-explanatory. I just don't happen to work with it, so I'm not going to have the right information to put on here, which is why I'm skipping it to go to the next tab, which is asking you what taxes you've already paid, okay? Here you can see that it already has my work taxes, but if you happen to have paid taxes in any other way or form, so you have stuff like that that you can put on here, okay? I, again, don't happen to have anything like that. Pagamentos efetuados. What is that? Okay, this is if you spent money on anything which can get you some money back, okay? So if you have your kids in school, if you're studying abroad, doctors, dentists, psychologists, physiotherapists, doctors abroad, etc., 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 put that on there. So maybe you went to a doctor here in Brazil, okay, and I'm the one that spent this money, not a dependent or somebody that I have a pension. I put the CPF of the person that did the work. I put their name, and then I say that I paid, 560 reais for this consultation. But, I keep forgetting, guys. See, look, so I'm telling you, make sure you're doing it right. Put a dot, right? Because, now it's correct. I think I did it right in the first place. I hadn't noticed that they added the comma for me. But remember that, especially if you're from America, okay, dots are commas are dots. So if you want to say 54,000, you put a dot there, not a comma. And then, let's say of those 50, yeah, exactly. What am I doing? Oh my. I don't want to pay 54,000 for a doctor. No, I paid 568 reais and 45 cents. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing that wrong. You see how it's important to just concentrate and do it correctly. 568, 98. This is so confusing for me still. I've been here in Brazil for so long. But anyway, I paid this much for the doctor. And then I want to say that my private insurer paid, this time I'm going to do it right, 214 reais and 45 cents. So they're going to know that, hey, whatever's taxable is, minus that right there. And then here you can put any donations that you made throughout the year. And there's all different types of companies that you can make donations to. Put not companies, but organizations. You put how much you donated, and that's that. Pretty self-explanatory. But what I did this year is I simply made a direct donation via the app. It's going to tell you how much you can donate based on your salary. So I want to donate, I don't know, to something close to home is always nice. So let's say I live in Goiás, and I live in Águas Lindas de Goiás, and I'm going to give the full amount to an organization that helps children and adolescents in Goiás. So I'm going to click that. Guys, by the way, put whatever. Uh, I imagine you would want to put whatever municipality or state that you live in. Since I didn't fill out anything up top, I guess it let me donate to Goiás. I don't know if you can donate to another place outside of where you live. So here I want to donate to a national organization, okay, to help elderly people. And I have the same amount of money that I can donate, 3042. So that's what I'm going to do, donate to some people. And I'm going to click OK. So I'm donating to some kids and I'm donating to some old folks. And that's about as easy as it gets. And then here, guys, is if you have any type of capital, okay? So anything that you own, you just want to put, first you want to just go down and make sure you find what it is that you have. And then, so let's say I own a residential building. You want to put the code for the building, right? The EP2 is going to get you that. Describe, a little bit of the building. And then you're going to put the address, the area. So it's kind of tedious, okay? But you should find all that information in your contract for your building. And if you can't find any of it, then you may have to talk to the real estate company or somebody that can get you that information. And down here, you're going to say how much this building is worth, how much you bought it for, okay? 2018, 2019, and how much you've paid throughout the year for this building, okay? In the video, she goes into detail about that, and it's really nice. As far as what price do I put? Do I put the original price? If the building's 20 years old, do I put that original price? And I believe she says yes, and then you put how much you've paid throughout the years. Okay, so this next tab here is dívidas e ônus real. So that's all the stuff that you owe people, okay, or financial institutions. And you're going to put it all here. You're going to put how much was owed, how much you owe now, and how much you've paid on that debt. You're going to explain what the debt is exactly. So that's what they call dívidas e ônus reais. And again, you just click new and put that there. Espólio was death. So that's the present. And then after that, you want to maybe put any political party that you may have donated to. You can find their CNPJ, just put the political party that you're donating and put CNPJ, you're going to get it. Like, I don't know, put Partido Verde, Green Party, CNPJ. On Google, you will find their CNPJ. You can either put the name of the candidate or the political party and put how much you donated. Importações are any type of info that you want to import onto the site. And then you get to this little green thing here. But before I do that, look, guys, there's all these other little tabs down here. This is the stuff that gets super complex. Even the girl in the video said, I'm making another video about this because it can get super complex. And this is if you are the big rollers that I said. I am not a big roller. This is the stuff that you want to definitely pay somebody to do, because this is if you have any activity out in the countryside, rural activity like actual farming, not I have a cute little house in the countryside. This here gets into houses, and if you are working with any money trading, if you are have any participation, in terms of investment in anything. So this is all stuff that you would put on here, and you would probably import all the information from that. And then here, day trading, then it can really get super complex, and I'm not going to go into it. So when you do the simple stuff though, you're going to click that green arrow, verificar pendências, and it's going to explain to you everything that you effed up, basically, or you forgot to do. And as I was just doing a kind of a mock version of this, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's missing. Now, important to note, the red stuff means you have to do this, otherwise you will not be able to send in your tax return. Yellow means that it's not necessary. And remember I said about the título eleitoral, it's not a necessary one, okay? Or I didn't put the name of the company that I worked for in the second time. But they said it's not necessary. But you know what's nice is if every time that you click on one of these, it's going to take you to where you need to go. And then you go back to verificar pendências. So, I can click here. And then if I put the address, then it'll turn out green. Let me see. Let me do one that's easy. Here you go. The UF. Where's the UF? There it is. So I live in Sao Paulo. This should be interesting because I said that I was donating to a place in Goiás. I wonder if they'll let me do that. But anyway, so I fixed it. Whoops, sorry. And, well, there you go. It's no longer there. The UF is gone. So as I fix, the stuff is going to disappear more and more and more. Like, for example, I didn't put how much I earned here, so if I put, I don't know, just put a number. I earned $500,000. Oof. Then, see, it's gone. So every time that you do that, it'll be gone. So just keep doing it until you have everything finished. And here, it's going to give you a calculation of how much that you owe or how you're going to be taxed. Well, that number went up real high after I put that $500,000, right? So, you can pay, I can pay $148,000, okay, or $144. It depends if you want to have it deducted in the very legal fashion, the very straight, XY fashion, 148,791. But there's a simplified imposto, okay? A simplified. So if I want that, then I'm going to get the 144,000. Look, even the girl in the video, what she says is look at what looks best for you, where you're going to be receiving or paying the least amount of money, and click on that one. Okay, basically that's what she says. That's what I did last year. That's what I did this year. I saw the amount that was a little bigger because there's one where it says how much you're gonna get back, and the other one is imposto a pagar. In this case, it's how much imposto you're gonna be paying. Obviously, I want to pay less taxes than higher taxes. Well, okay, that's the end of this. I will see you in a second. I have me back on video. Oh my God, guys. That was a lot of information. Whew. I wanted to make this a very short BJ, but I think it ended up being a very long BJ. One of those very good long BJs, I hope. Nice and wet. But again, this is the little piece of paper that you're going to get. That's going to have all the information on the right side. Well, on the left side, okay? No, it's on the right side. So, just follow that. Do I have to do the disclaimer again? I guess I do, because there are some idiots out there. I know none of you watching my channel are idiots, but I'm just saying in general. You have to put out the idiot alert. And so, idiot alert. If you don't feel comfortable doing this on your own, do not do it. Is Phil an accountant. No, he is not. Is Phil a financial consultant, expert of any sort? No, he is not. Can Phil do simple math without a calculator? No, he cannot. Okay? All I managed to do was do these taxes. Twice now. And fingers crossed, no problems. Okay? And if I do have problems, it's my own fault. I'm not blaming this woman on global. Okay? Because I said, hey, I made a choice. Okay? You make a choice to do something, you got to deal with the consequences of it. If it fails or if it succeeds, it's on you. Don't blame the next man. So don't come blaming me. If you do this and you say, oh, I saw Phil from Brazil Expat Journal told me how to do it. No. I showed you what the program was and where you can plug in the information and what the information basically said. Then it's up to you. Either you plug in the info or you don't, or you can pay, $200 to have somebody do it. It's up to you. I don't feel like paying $200 to have somebody do it because I'm a cheap bastard. Okay? And maybe being cheap is going to kick me in the ass. So far, it hasn't. All right? If I sound angry, I'm not. I'm just being a little forceful with that because I already know how it is on the internet, right? When you're trying to give advice, what's that old saying? No good deed goes unpunished, right? So we'll see what the reaction is to this video afterwards. And I hope to have a little bit something after me. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens because I did ask a friend or two to add a little bit more info about taxes after I'm done here, and we'll find out if we have something or not. If not, well, then I will say this, guys. Next interview that I have coming up on the Brazil Expat Journal is with Stephen Earls. He's this English guy who was here for 1 year studying. He studies linguistics or the Portuguese language. And he traveled all over Brazil, like really, literally. I think he missed like 3 or 4 states. He went everywhere. And I actually did 2 interviews with him. I'm going to be posting part 1 next week, next Friday. And then part 2, I'll see. I'll probably maybe I'll post it right after. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of space so you can all breathe because he's got a lot of adventures, a lot of crazy stories to tell, and maybe I want to kind of ease you into. Oh, excuse me, guys. Oh my goodness. I ate something. I ate a whole Crunch bar. Can you believe it? Um, I want to ease you into it. Okay, so I have part 1, and then we're gonna have part 2 after it. Okay, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more tax info right at the end of this video. If not, good night to all. And if we do have tax info, I'll say good night again after. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Adios.
Hi, so today I'm going to go over a little bit about US taxes. So, first of all, if you are living abroad, you have an extension always until June 15th. But there are kind of 2 things that you need to make sure that you're doing as a US citizen. You do need to file it, though most of us don't have to pay taxes in Brazil. So, what you have is the foreign income exclusion. And the IRS page has all of that. There's kind of a couple different brackets you can fall into. If you're making money in the US, you do need to pay based on the US, and I'm not really sure what you'd have to do in Brazil then. If you make income here, you go to what is foreign income and things like that. And it will kind of go through and explain to you exactly what counts if you're not really sure. But what I end up filling out is the 225 foreign income tax form. So if you're making money and you pay your taxes in Brazil, once you have registered that, you're going to fill in the foreign earned income. And this, in order to fill this in and get the exclusion, you have to make less than $100,000 per year. Changes every year, so it's good. I think this year was $115,000. You fill this in, you deduct it, and you fill this in with your 1040. So everyone still needs to fill in the 1040. And then essentially what you do is you deduct the money that you get from your foreign earned exclusion. You can also get a tax credit, and this applies more if you're kind of going back and forth between the US and Brazil. Exactly how it works, I'm not really sure, but the foreign earned income, the 2555, is if you spend less than 30 days in the US and you're not there for business or anything like that. So once you file this, then I've never had to pay taxes, but I'm filed, I'm up to date, and doesn't cause a problem. So I don't need to pay in the US because I pay here. The other thing you do have to look at is the F-bar. The F-bar actually is where you file with the US and account for all your different banking. It's a pretty simple form, honestly. You can submit it online, which is nice. Still not easy to submit online the foreign earned exclusion without paying. I haven't found a way to do it, so I always mail it in, just not to pay. But you can also submit through like H&R Block and all the different tax places. There's a list on the IRS site. But with the F-bar, this just kind of keeps track of your foreign bank accounts and your foreign assets. It's a pretty simple form to fill in. It is actually always due early. It's due, I believe, April 30th. I pretty much always miss the deadline. You just say why. But those two things are, well, three things. So the F-bar, the F2555, and your 1040 are what you would fill in if you are paying taxes in Brazil and you don't make over $115,000 or whatever dollars per year that it is based on. So that's a little bit about filing, and it is important to file because there have been a number of kind of hidden bills that have been pushed through. I'm not sure if they're standing still or not without researching a bit more, but some of them, if you're suspected of not paying, they can keep your passport or something, even if you're just visiting, and they could detain you until it's cleared up. So it's one reason to stay. I've never heard of anyone actually having that happen, but there are a couple different things that are trying to be pushed through to consider that as an option to ensure that you're paying your taxes.
Thank you, Liz, for that video. I hope it was really helpful to any of you out there who are considering doing your taxes for the US while you're down here in Brazil. And like I said in the intro, if there are any expats from other parts of the world who feel confident enough to make a similar video, feel free to email me and you can make a video and I'll post it. I want to thank everyone that watched or listened to this. Please like and subscribe. Also hit that little notification bell to know when new episodes will be up. And share this video if you think it was helpful. It helps me a lot and it may help someone else. Don't forget to go onto Patreon and see what new stuff I finally have up there, including some music and some MP3, downloadable MP3 episodes of the Brazilian Expat Journal. And I will see you next time, guys, when I will be interviewing Stephen Earls, who has traveled pretty much all of Brazil. Really interesting character, and he'll tell us about some of his adventures in the first part of a two-part interview series. So I will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.